Yo, what's going on? Bill here for Classic Rock and Metal Review. This is our bootleg segment for the month, and guys, in the past it's just been one specific title, getting a close look. I think I really dug the way we did the monthly haul a few days ago. Showed you a bunch of new things in depth, and that's what we're going to start doing now with the bootleg episode. So once a month I'll go over a bunch of titles that I got, give you a sort of in-depth review of them. Of course, I'll show you all the cover art and all. I'm going to review the set list, tell you how killer or lame they may be. Got 3 titles that have come out pretty recently, within the last few months. Killer stuff. We got Metallica to look at, some Traveling Wilburys, great Fleetwood Mac title, sort of a vintage title actually. And last but not least, we'll get to killer Iron Maiden title that came with some awesome bonus stuff. Already spoke a little bit about it a few weeks back. Let's get a little more in depth with that one because that kicks ass. Guys, I'd appreciate anyone who wants to drink. My ass has been sick as a dog. I ain't even going to bullshit is. I'm not trying to make excuses. I know I've been missing some episodes. But dude, friggin' laryngitis for a week, bronchitis for a week, and pneumonia for the last couple weeks. I'm just, I think, finally pulling out of the station of hell. It's time to pour me one. I haven't even tried. I've been so sick. I bought this 3-4 weeks ago and I haven't had a chance to drink it. It's happening now. Chamonix Creek Killer Beer Puff Pastry Stout with lactose. You know it's going to be sugary. It's all right. It's the end of the day here. Ain't nothing else going on except a little drinking and a little CD reviewing. So, hats off to me for making it through a month of hell. I have to let that top off a minute, and I'll get into that. So let's start out with our Artist of the Month. You know, I've declared this another new thing, man. Artist of the Month will be whoever I am going to do my I Was There episode at the end of the month. It's going to be, you know, these are past concerts I went to. I just kind of take you back to them, talk about them. So we'll get to that later on in the month. This concert I'm talking about, Armored Saint, Wasp, Metallica. I'm not a big Wasp fan, I got to tell you. So, you know, not really going to get much about them other than the concert review. Armored Saint, I got something coming up about them pretty soon. But right now, let's get to the Metallica. This is actually a title I picked up maybe like last October, November. It's called the Old Waldorf. 1982. This is the 40th anniversary edition. San Francisco, October 18th in 1982. Just awesome era. Look at that. Look at that cover. Tell me that ain't killer. The original, not the original band. The original band was really just James and Lars, you know, making demos as a 2-piece basically, borrowing other people to finish them out. So here we got Mustaine, of course, and Ron McGovney on bass. Let's talk about this winner first of all. It's on Zodiac label and it's a silver pressed single CD. I'm going to give you guys a look at all this artwork as I talk. You know, there's a killer inside cover on this one. You just got to love it. It looks like somebody hung on to one of the old posters, and for all I know, it's out of one of the box sets. I'm not even sure, but pretty killer. Doing their Metal Mondays, which was October 18th, I guess, on this one, obviously. You got basically 8 songs from that gig. Soundboard quality, although not great soundboard quality, but soundboard nonetheless. Bonus track, Whiskey A Go-Go, Hollywood, from August of 82, so a little later. And then, of course, Power Metal Demo, Ron's Garage, April of 82. This is the first I heard this one, and I think I listened to this disc when I first got it last year. Shelved it until the other day, got another really good listen to it. Oh, got a little numbered sticker action on there, 117. I picked this up as soon as it came out. I think you can still get it, though. Anyway, let's get into it. I mean, just the early raw energy, undeniable, total upcoming band, you know. It sounds a bit amateurish in spots, you know, like the drums, not perfect. Solos, a little, like I said, amateurish, sort of here and there. Now, a lot of them are great. Don't get me wrong. Some of them, you know, just playing the same note a million miles an hour, a couple seconds here and there, rather than runs on the guitar. It's all, you know, they're up and coming, totally there. The sound level's not great on this either. They fluctuate. The vocals and the drums pretty consistent. Guitars a little up and down, you know, especially the solos. Unfortunately, most of the solos are a little buried, but even that's kind of up and down. You know, is that why you're listening to this, for sound perfection? Absolutely not. This is sort of reminiscent of the Kiss Amityville 73 CD. That one probably sounds better than this one, but the point being that this is just such great classic old version of the band, you know, that the historical significance far outweighs any lack of sound quality, lack of perfect sounding solos. And it is soundboard, so even though the sound's rough, it's, you know, clean, at least. Can hear the crowd, so you definitely get a feeling of the room here and all. High energy performance. Hit the lights. James doing the whole, trying to hold the last note of every line thing, which of course he would eventually drop, sort of imitating Diamond Head a little bit, I guess you'd say. Then we got the mechanics, which of course is cool here in Metallica do. The mechanics, not the Four Horsemen. Kind of can't get enough of that because, of course, they would drop that. Phantom Lord, I think before they get into Phantom Lord, they yell out how they drove 300 miles to the gig, so that's kind of cool. We got that reference in there before they moved to San Fran. Jump in the Fire, always going to be one of my favorites. Some small differences even here. A couple different lyrics are, you know, changed and stuff. They don't do the hard stop before they go into the chorus. The song just runs right through without that stop. So a little different there. Motor Breath next up. Super fast version. Kind of like bass driven too, which is kind of cool rather than guitar. One of my least favorites on Kill 'Em All, but it's still pretty good. And the solo in here is killer. No Remorse. One of my favorites on Kill 'Em All, but the guitars here sound really thin. Almost kind of remind you of like Killing Is My Business. I always thought that album had like weak sounding guitar sound. No crunch. That's kind of how this one song sounds for some reason, No Remorse. But it's a good version, of course. 1-2 punch of an ender. Seek and Destroy, Metal Militia. Just a great thing to have, man. Only runs about 30-some minutes, but you know, you get those 8 songs pounded down your throat. Bonus track of No Remorse at the Whiskey's a little kind of on the bassy side. Not bad though, just a little flat sounding, and again the guitar's a little buried. Now the Power Metal demo, that is really something pretty awesome. That whole garage of Ron should just be moved to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or some kind of Hall of Fame, you know, since that one's lame. It's got some hiss, it's got even a little bit of tape warble going on, but Hit the Lights and Jump in the Fire on here are both awesome. Mechanics is on here, Motor Breath's on here. On Jump in the Fire especially sounds a little different, I think, because there's a lot of echo on James's voice. And you know, he even holds the last, when he says jump in the fire, he like holds the word fire. So a little bit of differences here with some of these songs, really cool. And it's really hard to believe, like looking back, that you were reading about Metallica wanting to change vocalists even up to like 86. They were still talking about considering doing it. I don't know why. I mean, James has such a great sounding voice. Never understood that. The Old Waldorf, 1982. This is a great one, guys. More great early Metallica. You know, you think you wouldn't be able to get enough of these guys. I already have the No Life to Leather CD. Both editions of that are on there. This guy now, and I'm always up for more old Metallica. I think they got a new release coming out, so stick around for the Bootleg new release episode coming up soon. Fleetwood Mac, Sausalito, 1974. Guys, this is actually a 2002 CD. I didn't know that when I bought it. Not that that really matters, you know. We got a good soundboard recording here. Sausalito, California, where the record plant was located at. There's a couple other cool record plant recordings out there. Most notably for me, Steely Dan. They have a 1974 show that I think is the best sounding Steely Dan bootleg you can get. But actually, let's take a little closer look at this guy. This is on a label called Fleetwood Sounds. And if you look in the corner, made in Sweden, and it's number 001. So I'm not sure how long that label, if you want to call them a label, lasted. But this is the first CD they ever made. Now, this is just such a great era, guys. There's a lot to talk about if you want to talk about old original Fleetwood Mac and then the following eras in between their, like, you know, rumors stage. And really, guys, every era had like something cool to offer, honestly. I just watched a cool, like, generic biography that my library had. You know, not authorized by the band, but it actually, because of that, I think was actually kind of cooler. It did have some live clips and stuff, but it only went up to 75. So that was perfect for me. I always wondered about their early era and who was in and when they were in and so forth. So it covers the Peter Green era. There's Jeremy Spencer is the other dude. When Christine comes in, first she's just a keyboard player, then she starts singing a year later. And then we work our way up to, I might be forgetting someone else in there too, guys. But Bob Welch, you know, he ends up coming into the band, and I think that's my favorite era. So this is a silver press CD, by the way. Soundboard, like I said, this is recorded for radio, but not with an audience the way that Steely Dan's record plant gig had a live audience in the studio. No audience for this one. It's a full recording too, which is kind of cool, not the actual broadcast. So they even do like a false take or stutter take of Sentimental Lady. You have to start it over again. So kind of raw that way. The sound, you know, on older CDs sometimes just not up to snuff. I mean, obviously the technology is 21 years old here. And there's some just general distortion on this disc, but overall it sounds really good. Maybe an 8.2. Very listenable, obviously. Like I said, this is my Fleetwood Mac that I was into when I was a little younger. Actually, my whole entire listening of Fleetwood Mac through the years has just been spotty. I think the first album I had was Fleetwood Mac 75. Then I had like Kiln House from 70. Future Games, I think, from 71, which is the first one, I think, with Welch. Then I got like Tango, and then, I mean, it's all over the place, you know. So Mystery to Me, all the eras of Fleetwood Mac, like I said, have some good shit to offer. Bob Welch actually came from a band called Head West, and he was in them, and they had an album out, I think, in 70. So he joins Mac in 71. He's there till 74. Christine McVie's officially a member now. So we got Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, Bob Welch, Christine McVie, and Bob Hunt, who was in the band Head West with Bob Welch. He's just here on keyboard for this, but he really sounds cool, fills it up nice. So what's good on this set list? Green Manalishi just started off. Great, awesome song. You know, I always knew it from probably a few years before I was probably reading about it being a Mac song, but really almost couldn't believe my eyes reading that back in the day. Great one. The next song on here is one of my favorites ever by Mac, Angel. Great rocker, and it's just such a groove. It's awesome. Welch does a good job as the lone guitarist here, by the way. They had been a 2-guitar band most of their history prior. Spare Me a Little, Christine's song. All her songs are good and never really great, in my opinion. And we get Sentimental Lady, false start, then Sentimental Lady, full version. I always like this original Mac version. You know, when Welch redid it in 77, he sang it the same sort of monotone way, the chorus. Back in with Mac, he used to elevate the singing to like another octave for the second line and the third line of the chorus. Just like it better, and also like hearing Christine in the back. That segs into Future Games, which is really cool. Then Bob does a rap while the band's jamming, obviously, about where they got the name Future Games. Kind of cool. Bermuda Triangle's next. That's a good one. I wasn't familiar with that one. Why and Believe Me, a couple of Christine songs. Black Magic Woman. If you didn't know, they were the original band that wrote that. Oh Well's pretty cool here. Pre-Shake Blues and band intros. Rattlesnake Shake's a cool one. Hypnotize is awesome. Not really down with how they play it live. It's kind of slower and stuff. I like the record better, honestly. And then we get a bonus track, Live 74, mystery to me, but it doesn't say where. This is a really good CD, guys. If you're into this, I'm really into the Bob Welch era of Fleetwood Mac. I think it's their best, honestly. Grab this one called simply Sausalito, 1974. Traveling Wilburys, Volume 2, reimagined album. This is a single CDR, guys, beat file label. Price is right, though. I think it was like 17 bucks, so, you know, I'm okay with that if it's something I want bad enough. And, you know, just in the mood for some Wilburys. Always thought it was a cool idea to have a Volume 2. As you know, their official albums were Volume 1 and Volume 3. So here's your Volume 2 reimagined album, because this actual label, Beat File, already put out a Volume 2. And I'm trying to remember what that one was like, because I never had it. I just, you know, was looking at it the other day online. This one I think is maybe a little more in line with what it would have sounded like. I think the other Volume 2 they made had 3 songs from Full Moon Fever. So this one's going to be a little more sort of in line with what might have happened had they done an album in '89, which is kind of a cool notion. For one thing, they put all 4 of the outtakes that were later released, a couple of CD singles and such, and outtakes from the little box set they put together of all their work. So you get those 4 songs, Nobody's Child, Runaway, Like a Ship, and Maxine. They're all on here. So what else is on here? You know, let's go down the list real quick. So you got You Got It, Roy Orbison's hit song from '89. Petty and Lynn wrote that with Orbison. So that's kind of cool, because, of course, with Roy passing, there was no way you were going to have him on there unless you used an older recording. So Cheer Down by Harrison. This was an '89 song by George Harrison that was on the Lethal Weapon 2 soundtrack. I think also on the Best of Dark Horse. I like that song. I think that kind of works, and, you know, that's okay to be on here. A Love So Beautiful, that is a song from Mystery Girl again by Roy Orbison. And Jeff Lynne wrote it, although I don't know if it totally fits here as Traveling Wilburys material. Kind of fudging that one. Poor Little Girl, the Cheer Down B-side from Harrison, '89 again. That's okay, not as good as Cheer Down. California Blue, now this is a good one from Roy Orbison. From Mystery Girl, I believe, this time. This one, again written by Jeff Lynne. This one sounds a little more in line with Wilburys. Pretty cool. Cockamamie Business, George Harrison again, just on the compilation only, new track on Best of Dark Horse. It's okay. Doesn't sound Wilburys though, I have to admit. Don't Treat Me Like a Stranger, that's a Tom Petty, that's a B-side from something off of Full Moon Fever. So everything's pretty in line here, guys. This is like '88, '89 stuff. There's some Jeff Lynne solo songs on here. Also, Lift Me Up. And I think there's another. Blown Away. That's it. From 1990, Jeff Lynne songs. And Work It Out. The last song on here is actually a song by a guy named Jim Horn. He played, of course, he played saxophone on earlier Traveling Wilburys album. And Jeff and Tom helped them record this song musically. I think Jeff played every instrument. Jeff and Tom Petty did the background vocals on it, but it's actually Jim Horn singing the song. So a little bit of a stretch there to end it. A couple of bonus tracks. Probably could have used a Dylan song in there somewhere. They have Everything Is Broken, the early version, as a bonus track. I would have thrown that in there, but it doesn't really sound like a Wilburys song either. So all in all, kind of fulfilled my little craving for some new fake Wilburys. Sound on this is really good. Actually, a little bit of distortion on a couple of these numbers, like they're just peeking out a little much. But overall, really good sound, no big deal. Really kind of dig this one, man. Fun CD. The one thing I gotta say, how do you put one of these together and not put the song? I mean, it's obvious as hell. Tom Petty on the playback box set, I think that's '93. Disc 6 has a bunch of unreleased songs, and one of them's called Travelin'. And it totally sounds like a Wilburys song. How that's not on here is beyond me. I guess this music nerd's going to have to get on his computer and make my own volume 2 one day. Time for a drink. Last but not least, guys, one of the best CDs I've picked up in a while. Gotta definitely spotlight this one. Iron Maiden, Definitive, Nijmegen, 1981. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. We're in Holland, so hard to pronounce anything there. But not hard to pronounce. Kick-ass. This is freaking awesome, and it was kind of like the deal of the century with all the bonus stuff that came with it. So we're going to talk about this and the bonus CD came with it. I'll show you the couple of bonus DVDs that also came with it. Really awesome. Just look at that set list. You got the whole, basically most of the first 2 albums. Told you there's a little bit about this before, but now let's look at it a little more in depth. Nice inside sleeve there. You know, Paul Diano and Company. Silver press CD from Zodiac. Looks like I need to put a new cover on here, man. Sometimes they're doing this now. I don't know what's going on. They're giving you the black case when there's actually a photo back there. I'll need to switch it over to a clear. All right, what can we talk about? First of all, this CD is 79 minutes and 51 seconds, so it's almost a full 80 minutes of material. The whole show's on here, quite obviously. For some people, this is like the ultimate lineup. You got Clive Burr still on drums. You know, it doesn't do as many crazy outlandish solos as McBrain did, but he's kind of a groove drummer. So maybe if that's more your thing, I could take either one of those guys. I think they're both cool. You know, guys, I have to admit, man, I only got their first 2 albums in the last few years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I'm slow to get into that older stuff, but it's creeping up on me, man. Kind of went for this, hoping this would, like, you know, maybe turn the corner a little bit for me, and it has. This is really just such a high energy, awesome show. The crowd here is insane, and you can tell they're nuts. It's almost like the crowd's part of the show. They're just so into it. Definitely a Maiden crowd. They didn't just come to see whoever was there that night. They came to see Iron Maiden. They're nuts about them. Really adds to it. Oh, let's just go down the set list. I mean, you know, the one thing, if I have to say there's one thing, that's probably why I'm slow to get into these first 2 albums. They're super consistent, both of them. There isn't a bad song on them. You know, it's taken me a little time to like dig some favorites out of these first 2 albums, but it's starting to happen. I can tell you right now. Ides of March intro into Wrathchild. I think Wrathchild's my favorite song on the first 2 albums, you know, either one. And then I would say Remember Tomorrow's another one. I really like Innocent Exile. Now everything sounds killer here, so whatever your favorite is, it's going to sound awesome. Murders in the Rue Morgue, Phantom of the Opera, and then I think Iron Maiden. I think they're my 6 favorites. Like I said, everything on here is great. All I can say, it's friggin' awesome, man. I don't know what else to say. There's really no like particular solo that's any awesome. You know, there's a guitar solo in here, there's a drum solo too, I think. But it's just a great, solid show all the way through, helping me to, you know, go over to that earlier era. The one thing we can look at, guys, is the bonus CD. It's actually pretty cool too. This is recorded in Milwaukee. So let me just say, man, if you find this show on one of the Japan sites, the one I use, Disc Japan, they still have it available when I checked yesterday. They have 2 bonus DVDs and a bonus CD. So all 4 discs, $36. So this is a silver press to start off with, the single Nijmegen show. Nijmegen, however you pronounce it. Then you get this Diano Days collection. This is a CD and DVD. CDR and DVD-R, let me make that clear. This is the Milwaukee Summerfest show. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then you also get DVD-R, Diano Day's Collection. They're live in Italy, right around the same time as the other disc there, April. And you also get a bunch of TV performances mixed in there also. As you can see, 6 different ones, 8 songs from Italy. The Milwaukee show is another full-on show. Now this one, because it's at like a summer fest, it sounds like a lot of the crowd is just there, and you know, they would have been there cheering for whoever the hell was going to be there that day. So not sure, you know, not as much energy from the crowd, because they're kind of, sounds like some Maiden fans, mostly just people who were going to be at Summerfest at Milwaukee. Ides of March, Sanctuary, Purgatory, Wrathchild, Remember Tomorrow. Luckily for me, all those 6 favorites of mine are all on here. So it looks like a couple songs omitted from the Holland show. It's a soundboard recording, like an FM broadcast kind of deal. Couple, like DJ intro, but really that's kind of it. DJ, you know, there's 1 or 2 more little spots where the radio's coming back on kind of thing. But no big deal. Sound overall, maybe around an 8. It can be a little distorted, but not bad. You know, anything in the 8+ category for me means it's very listenable. Summerfest, Iron Maiden, aka Diano Day's Collection. Awesome. Definitely worth the extra $12 for those 2. And you also get the Beat Club DVD-R 1981. So this is kind of like, get your fill of 1981 for $36. Awesome. I haven't watched this one yet. Only watched a little bit of the Italy show so far, so I'm looking forward to getting into that next. This Beat Club looks pretty thorough too. How many songs here? 15 songs on this, man. This is great. Pro Shot, of course, 64 minutes. So it's like the deal of the century, guys. Just Japan's got it right now. All 4 discs, $36 last I checked. And guys, that's going to do it. That's our bootleg show for this month, April 2023. Looked at some great ones. Really, I'm interested in everything that I got. Still kind of listening to them and enjoying them. Still delving into the Maiden bonus stuff. But this definitive Nijmegen is just absolutely awesome. I mean, it's like professional live album quality. Perfect sound on this one. Perfect performance. Crowd's awesome and into it. Can't mess with this one. Guys, if you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. Coming up hopefully in a couple days. Japan bootleg update. All the new releases from the last month. Once again, we're bombarded with another, I don't know, 80 or 100 or more. I'll sort it out for you and pull out my favorites, my recommendations. And after that, we got Black Sabbath Day coming up. Another super deluxe edition we got to talk about. And maybe get into some Ozzy bootleg action on that one. Guys, that'll do it for now. Catch us later.